This was a lot more than just being rusty. Game 1 in Boston. Not what we were looking forward to tonight. Philadelphia 76ers, they get blown out of the building. Joel Embiid, the only one who shows up. Game 1 Kyle Gaffner is here. I'm Adrian Fetke. I'm ready to hear my echo.
Yeah, me too. It's a little delayed, but that's okay. But what a rough game, Adrian. This was a little brutal to watch. But it's all right. We haven't played in 5-6 days. Boston just got finished that great series with Milwaukee, so they had the momentum going in their favor. They're at home. They've got a great crowd behind them, fueling that energy, and we just straight out look lackadaisical. We got outplayed, and we didn't play a lick of defense, my dude. Not a lick. It was bad.
Well, that's why I'm like, I don't want to hear the rust thing because they didn't play a lick of defense. Robert Covington just couldn't stay in front of Jason Tatum all night, whether it was on the ball, off the ball, couldn't stay in front of him. Brad Stevens took advantage of the Sixers switching defense to get mismatches, whether that was Tatum on Redick or Horford getting on Ilyasova on the block. So you had a lot of different things going on here. The 5 of 26 from 3, some of that, yes, they missed shots. But the other part of it is because Boston set the pace. Boston was executing in the half court. The opportunities to run for the Sixers were limited. How many times do we see Ben Simmons in the open floor? Not much. And then when they did get in the open floor, kind of like in that second half, there was one sequence in this game that epitomized this game. And that was when, I don't know if you remember this, but Ben Simmons goes up the floor and Marco Bellinelli just chucks up this shot. Offensive rebound, then it's Robert Covington. What happens at the other end? Terry Rozier comes down the floor completely unabated, and that's what it was all night. This was the #1 defense in the NBA in terms of stopping opponents' field goal percentage, opposing field goal percentage. Sixers were #1. Sure, Boston, they're not going to shoot like this again, especially from three-point range.
Nah.
But a lot of these looks were also open because this Sixers team did not come to play tonight. Jaylen Brown was not playing in game 1. This was an opportunity for the Sixers to step on Boston's throat, set the tone of the series, take one in Boston, and they didn't show up tonight.
They did not, and I do remember that sequence too because I remember Marcus Smart got the ball and he pushed it all the way up the court. Terry Rozier hit that trail 3, and it was just like everybody was looking around like, what's going on? It was just baffling to see. I figured since the Sixers did have a couple days off, you get some rest, you'd be ready to come into Boston and play. It's not like we're playing Miami, where the fans are really not into their team. That's like, if you remember that quote that Ilyasova said, that they went down there and it was like an empty stadium. You're not going to get that in Boston. That energy was there. And, God, what did they hit? 16 threes tonight? I mean, I agree with you there. They're not going to shoot like this again. They're a team that plays in the half court. They get a lot of their points off their defense, getting steals and whatnot. And they're not going to be a team that's going to give you 117 night in and night out because a lot of their offense came from Kyrie Irving. But Jason Tatum stepped up tonight. And if I hear all these Sixers fans crying like, oh, my God, we really blew it this time with trading up to get Fultz. Look at Jason Tatum. He's a superstar and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's going to be a smooth player, but Fultz was sure less going to be the best player out of that draft, in my opinion, still. But Ben Simmons is a guy that really runs the offense. He makes this engine go, and he had a poor game tonight. I think the kid had 7 turnovers. It just wasn't there for him tonight. I thought JoJo played a good game, but JJ Redick was nowhere to be found. Where was the homie? Ilyasova played bad. I mean, there's been 3 playoff games now, Adrian, where we shot at least 19% from downtown. You live and die by the 3.
Yeah, and each of these games that they shot poorly from 3, it's because they were half-court games and situations where they weren't able to push the ball up the floor. Because that's where the Sixers get their 3-point looks. It's in transition. That's when they're uncontested. So you get Ben Simmons barreling down the floor, and you get Ilyasova and Bellinelli out on the wings, and then you have Redick kind of drifting into the corner. That's how they operate. That's their offense. But a game like tonight, half-court type of game, you got to move the ball a little bit more. And, well, they really didn't start playing through Joel Embiid until the second half. So he had like 13 points at halftime, but 11 points in the third quarter. They just kept feeding Embiid on the block. I mean, if you got Aaron Baines on you, if you got Al Horford on you, they're not going to be able to stop Embiid. And I think that's one of the things that they got to do in game 2. If this game is played more in the half court, just keep feeding Embiid the ball. Yeah, he had 21 shots, field goal attempts, which was by far the most in the Sixers. But you saw in that third quarter, even the fourth quarter, you just feed Embiid and let him go to work. And I think that's something that they should definitely do more in game 2. It's a lot more than just these shots having to fall down. It's some of these shots were open looks, sure, but some of them were also contested. You got to move the ball more. You got to swing it around. You got to play hot potato. I didn't see a lot of hot potato tonight. I didn't see the Christmas. This Sixers team has the most passes of any team in the league. They move the ball. They share the ball. We didn't see that tonight. Ben Simmons, like you said, 7 turnovers. He looked like a rookie tonight. Yes, he's a rookie, Boston.
Yes.
My God, idiots. They don't know what a rookie is. They can't read what Donovan Mitchell's sweater said, his hoodie. He's a rookie, damn it. And he's the rookie of the year. He didn't play like it tonight. Jason Tatum, he got the best of him. 28 points. I mean, like I said with Robert Covington, man, like what he was doing off the ball, just blowing right by Covington every single time. I wonder if we're going to see a little bit more of Justin Anderson in game 2. Because we saw Dwayne Wade have that big game. It was game 2 in Philadelphia. And what did the Sixers do? They implemented Justin Anderson to kind of take Wade out of his game a little bit more for the rest of the series, and it worked in the Sixers' favor. So I think that's one of the adjustments that Brett Brown might make. We might see more Justin Anderson. Only 5 minutes tonight. I was a little bit surprised by that. I actually thought he would play more because, I mean, Boston, they kind of run through their wings with Tatum and, well, obviously Jaylen Brown didn't play tonight. But Terry Rozier was the other one. I mean, he went 7 of 9 from 3. That's not happening again.
No, absolutely not. And even when you look at Marcus Smart, the guy is a great on-the-ball defender, fantastic, but he's not going to be a guy that's going to be lighting you up, too. I think in the one quarter, I think it was the third quarter, he dropped 9 points. He's not going to be a guy that's going to be hurting you on the offensive end. And I would have liked to see more Justin Anderson. He's just a more aggressive guy on defense. He's a bigger body, and you can kind of throw him into Jason Tatum, whereas Covington just looked horrific, not only on the offensive end, but the defensive end, which is his staple on this team. And he was just getting beat off and on. And then when Brett, decided to change, we saw a lot of J.J. Redick on Tatum, and I don't want to see that at all. I think J.J. Redick is a defensive liability anywhere you put him, but you leave him on the floor for his ability to knock down shots. So I'd like to see a little bit of a switch on there. Covington played 27 minutes, and you only give Jay Anderson 5. If he's playing that poorly, I would like to see Brett kind of get a new body in there, get some energy in there. And that's why I was hoping maybe we see a little bit of Fultz just to change up that rotation a little bit, maybe give you that spark. But to not see him the past few games, it's a little disappointing. But especially when you're when we're down by 12 at one point, get him in there. Maybe he sparks the offense a little bit. Change it up.
Yeah. And a lot of this, you got to give a lot of credit to Brad Stevens, too. I mean, he took it. I kind of mentioned it before, but he took advantage of that Sixers switching defense. That's why Redick was on Tatum on a couple of occasions. He was just taking advantage of the mismatches, and that's something that Brett Brown might have to make a little bit of adjustment for the rest of the series, and kind of how he goes about the defensive side of the floor.
Yeah, and it always seems too like when we always figure it out in the second half, and you touched on it by feeding Embiid in the post. I think he could make a living down there. Let the big man go to work. Aaron Baines cannot cover him. Neither can Al Horford. And I don't know if you remember this one play. It was Shane Larkin taking up the ball, and then both Embiid and it might have been TJ or Covington both followed him to the side of the basket. You left Al Horford at the top of the key. There were so many uncontested three-point shots tonight. Our perimeter defense was horrific, and we cannot have that happen tonight. Like tonight.
It's like it's part of it is Boston isn't going to shoot like this again, but the other part of it is you got to close out defensively. I cannot tell you how many missed closeouts the Sixers had tonight. I mean, it was just one missed closeout after another. How many open threes are the Celtics going to have?
And you can't have that. I know Aaron Baines isn't going to be a guy that you think of that's going to be knocking down shots, but he had at least 4 open threes in the corners that he was able to knock down and hurt us. I mean, there was, what did I say? They did hit 16 threes, and not only with the 3-point shots, but they had some open looks and 2-pointers too. They were eating us up on the side of the basket, dude. Those little 10 to 15-foot jumpers on the side of the basket. It was just like, I feel like Embiid should just stick to his man, and this is where I give Brad Stevens credit too. A lot of the times they don't really need to double because their defenders can guard one-on-one. I feel like they don't like to double up. If they have to, they will, but he trusts in his guys to be able to do one-on-one coverage, and that helps out the team tremendously. It doesn't give you a lot of open looks when you double up somebody. Embiid's in the post. Our open shots aren't going to be there for our big 3 to hit in JJ Ilyasova and Bellonelli.
Nelly. I was ready to strangle him by his neck tonight, by the way, with some of those shots he was taking. My God.
What about his defensive? He was awful on defense, too, dude. He was getting played around with Tatum. He was making him look silly.
That's Brad Stevens, dude. Brad Stevens. That was him, dude. He took it again. He's taking advantage of the switching defense, getting the mismatches on Redick, Ilyasova, and Bellinelli. It was happening all night.
Mm-hmm. It was. And now that Kyrie is out and Hayward, that's the kid that scares me the most on that team. You got to be able to shut him down. Whoever it is, it's going to be Tatum. If it's going to be Covington or if it's going to be Justin Anderson or you think Rashawn Holmes, I think Rashawn Holmes would be able to cover him maybe on the perimeter, not down low, but throw multiple people at him. Maybe rough him up with Jay Anderson and then put a quick athletic guy on him like a Rashawn Holmes. See if he could be able to shut him down. Something.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the box score here. Marcus Smart, Aaron Baines, and Al Horford combined 6 3-pointers, which was more than the Sixers tonight.
Wow. And none of those guys jump out at you as being prolific 3-point shooters. Marcus Smart really can't hit the 3. We know Aaron Baines can get lucky and knock down a shot. But it's like, come on, you cannot let guys beat you, especially if it's not a strength in their game. And you look at our bench, what did we have? 16 points? Maybe. We had 6 points from Ilyasova and then 11 points from Bele. Not that much. But the production that you got out of Horford, Tatum, and Rozier were just – they almost all 3 had 30 points, dude. That's practically almost 90 points right there. You can't get it done like that. It's just – and – yeah, Boston's not going to shoot this great again. We're not going to shoot this poorly again, in my opinion. You live and die by the shots. They're going to start to fall. It's just Brett has to go down. And you know what kills me too? We got another 2 days off. So I would have loved for us to be able to play on Wednesday, but it's going to benefit Boston, I think, because they just got that tough series, and we've had off for a while. But I feel like we should be practicing hard both Tuesday and Wednesday to get ready for Game 3. Because we cannot have another cupcake showing like this, my dude. No, we can't be going back to Philly down 2-0.
The first thing I got to work on are the closeouts. The second thing that got to work on is maybe doing something to switch up the switching defense. You can't just continue to have mismatches with Tatum on Redick and Tatum on Bellinelli. You got to do something there. And if you make the adjustments defensively, that's when you can start getting out and running on the offensive end. I mean, let's see. What did Boston shoot tonight? Boston shot 48.2%. 85 shots for Boston, 83 shots for the Sixers. You can tell by those shot attempts that this game was played to Boston's pace and Boston's favor, half-court type of game. And they were able, again, to keep it a half-court game because they were executing on the offensive end. And when you shoot 48.2%, you're limiting the amount of times that the Sixers could go out and run. And that's what this was all about. It was all about the Sixers not being able to defend, Boston executing in the half court, and not being able to run. I mean, it's a lot more than just 5 of 26 from 3. Yeah. It's a lot more than that. That's what the people on Twitter were complaining about. Like it's the Sixers were 5 of 26 from 3. If you make a couple more threes, you're in the game. It's a lot more than that. You got to get better on the defensive end. I mean, they scored 117 points, and they only took 85 shots.
And that's saying something too, Adrian. We get a lot of our points off the defensive end to set up our shots. But also when we were in the half court, there was no ball movement whatsoever. Embiid would get the ball in the post, and everybody would stand around watching. JJ wasn't being able to get off screens. He wasn't running around. Nobody was cutting to the basket. I mean, it was just let's watch everybody watch Embiid while we just stand there. And then there was just no aggression to get the offensive rebounds, no second chance points. It killed us tonight. And again, this is a team that's going to be like Miami that wants to slow down the game, get you in the half court set, and that's one of our weaknesses. But to be able to get Ben Simmons going, I think just for the big fella to try to get to the 10 as much as possible, even though he's not good at the free throw line, just get up there, get to the line. Now, we did get to the line 36 times tonight, and we only did miss 9 free throws. So, I thought we did a good job there. It was just it had everything to do with them playing stymie defense and not being able to get in the running lanes, get some blocks, get some steals, and then feed Embiid. And like Embiid did everything tonight. He did everything possible he could. Almost dropped 30 points, but he needs a little bit of help. And this team isn't going to score 117 again. I mean, they're just not. If we get a big lead on these cats, they're not going to be able to cut into it. There's just no way.
Yeah. Looking at the comments section, shout out to my man Philly 500. In Philly 500's words, we stink. They stunk tonight.
We stunk it up more than the Boston Harbor, dude. It was bad.
But my question for you, Kyle, will the Sixers bounce back?
Absolutely. I have all the faith in the world that this team is going to come back in here. What has Brett been able to do when we come off a bad game? He's able to reset, get this team ready for it. We're going to be fine. I hope everybody's not jumping off the ship. Like I said before when I was reading in the comments, that everybody was jumping, whoa, wow, we made the biggest mistake drafting Fultz. We should have took Tatum. Imagine him in this offense and blah, blah, blah. All right, hold the phone here. Let's not worry, guys. We won 52 games this season. We eliminated the Heat 4-1. This is a really, really good team. So for you to be able to jump off after one game, I think it's asinine. Have faith in this squad because we're going to come back ready to take game 2 in Boston. For sure.
Here's kind of how my logic is. I felt like the Sixers should have lost by like 40 tonight, and they were still in the game. In a lot of like third quarter, like I'm thinking they're down 20, 25 points, and they're only down like 10. Mm-hmm. And the fourth quarter, it still wasn't over. They whittled the gap to like 8. Mm-hmm. It was like game 4 in a way against Miami, except they didn't come back this time. Because you might be able to overcome 27 turnovers against Miami, but you can't overcome that sort of play against Boston. They're just too well coached. Not that Eric Spoelstra isn't a bad coach, but just obviously more talent on Boston's side as well, even missing 3 players on their end. So my thought is like, all right, you're not going to shoot this bad from 3 again because your defense will improve. Mm-hmm. Ben Simmons won't have 7 turnovers again. Joel Embiid is going to get help next time, and he's still going to be a beast because Aaron Baines and Al Horford cannot guard him. So I think they're going to come out motivated in game 2, and they're going to win this game. I think they're going to win.
And so do I, dude. And what we were talking about, that's exactly what I thought in game 4. It's like we had the 27 turnovers. We were down a ton. But I thought maybe we could chip away because the fourth quarter has been our friend. In the last series, we outscored Miami 151-110. So it shows you that we could really turn it on in the fourth quarter. I thought maybe if we got it to at least 6 points, we'd be able to take a lead. It's just we weren't able to generate any offense, the defensive end. Every time we got a little bit closer by knocking down shots, they would go on like a 6-0 run. And it was just we could not make up any dividends by doing that. It just stuck. Every time we got close, they would go on a little bit of a run. But Brad Stevens, I think, is on the Popovich's level as, best coaches in the NBA right now. I mean,
it's those two and everybody else.
Yeah, it solely is. Look what he's able to do with losing 2 superstars, and then you'll lose Jaylen Brown, who's a huge piece in this team's future as well. And to be able to get production out of Terry Rozier and then like an Al Horford. Al Horford's kind of like an anomaly. He worries me a little bit with Embiid. Yeah, Embiid could take him to work down on the other end, but he could also really hurt Embiid because Horford's able to hit the 3-point shot. So that's going to have Embiid draw out the 3-point lane, and then they're going to be able to go down low and score in the paint because you've got no shot blocking protection then. So having Horford out there, I really think goes to Boston's side to where they could hurt us because he's a lot quicker than Embiid. Embiid's bigger, but he's quicker. So it balances those two out, in my opinion. What do you feel about that? Do you think that would be a fair assessment?
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because like a lot of the analysts have been saying that, but I feel like Embiid is so damn athletic that he can guard the perimeter and he can just do whatever he wants defensively. We're not looking at like Nerlens Noel, for instance, where he can defend the perimeter and defend the dribble drive, but Embiid's not asked to defend the dribble drive against quicker guards or whatever.
Right.
I think Embiid's fine against Horford. Now the other thing is does Boston really have any interior players besides like Aaron Baines? Like that's going to be able to create havoc inside. Maybe you can set up Tatum with some post ups, but who else is posting up on that team? Maybe Marcus Morris, but who else?
Yeah, nobody really that comes to my mind. I mean, when we had Shane Larkin out there torching us, I'm like, oh, it's a bad game. You got Shane, the little munchkin Larkin. I mean, he could be the mascot of this team, that little dwarf. And he was out there making us look silly. But it's just, I think when Horford's out there and drawing him over, because other than that, we don't really have any shot blocking when Embiid's out there on the perimeter. So to be able to draw him in, and then you got two slashers, and that's a really, really good part of Jaylen Brown's game. He loves to slash. He likes to get to the basket, dunk, or what have you. So if you insert him in there with Horford out there on the perimeter, I feel like Embiid should just hold his ground and send somebody out there, pull the Ilyasova or maybe a Dario out there on out, and just leave Embiid down low and don't let him get pulled out to the perimeter.
Or maybe you put Ben Simmons on Al Horford.
Or, yeah, you can even put Ben out on Al Horford. He's got the body. He's got the quickness. He's a lot quicker. Ben was even getting his ankles broken a little bit by Terry tonight. He was getting some good penetration.
Hey, Terry's a pretty good player, man. I mean, he obviously had a big first-round series against Milwaukee, and he brought it again tonight, hit his open shots. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. The Sixers parted the Red Sea, and he took advantage of it. And he had, what was it, 26 points he had?
29. He had 29 points.
29 points. Let's see. Man, you had Rozier go for 29.
Horford 26.
All right. So, see, here's the thing, man. 11 of 18 more. Yeah, Horford goes for 20 out of 12. He ain't going 10 of 12. Jason Tatum, 8 of 16. He was outstanding tonight as well. So you had those three guys, and they were great. They were great. But are they going to be great again? We'll see.
It's really hard to be able to match a game like this and keep it consistently. Not that any of those players are scrubs. Like I said, Tatum, I think is a future star in this league. Horford's always been a good player, not a great player. And then who else went off? Terry Rozier's solid. He went to Louisville, well coached. I just don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to be dropping 25 every night. He was 6'8" from downtown, but at least 4 of those looks were wide open. So they were able to knock down their wide open shots to where when we had some shots, they weren't. And then it's just like we said before, Covington is really hurting us. 27 minutes out there. What did he take? 4 shots, if that? I mean, he had a pure open look when he was 4 feet away from the basket, and he botched it. I mean, he freaking threw it on the opposite side, didn't even hit the rim. It's like he doesn't know what to do when he's not behind the three-point line, and he really needs to work on his part of the game. But the staple of him being our defensive, mechanic to be able to shut down their best player, well, they didn't do a good job of that tonight, Adrian. So maybe when he's counting them Benjamins out there, he's going to be watching some damn tape. I mean, come on, Cov. Come on.
6 and 0-4 from 3 points. But it wasn't what he did on the offensive end that pissed me off. It was the defensive end. Just sitting there and watching. All right, so I'm going to take a look at some comments, and we'll just kind of go through some things and see what people have to say.
We're back, baby. We're live.
We're back. All right. So Alex, I'm sorry if I get your name, your last name wrong there, pal, but I know he comments all the time. Alex Sanji asks, "What's wrong with Fultz?"
I don't think there's anything wrong with Fultz. I just think Brett is going to go towards more of the veteran presence in TJ McConnell, maybe because he's a little bit more stymier on defense. But this is a big moment for a 19-year-old. Yes, he also missed 68 games, so maybe those 2 weeks that he did play. And, I mean, he played sparingly in the Miami Heat series. But the further you go on in the playoffs and him not playing, I just feel like Brett doesn't have the confidence, and it's a lot of pressure to put on Fultz. So isn't he effective? But when we were down, I thought maybe putting him in, inserting him into the lineup, maybe getting him a little bit acclimated to some playoff time, it could help him out a bit and help our team out as well.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get some minutes in game 2. I know, like, Brett Brown has kind of said that he doesn't want him to put him out there with the physicality of, that was his excuse for the Miami series. Mm-hmm. And if they're worried about the physicality of Miami, it's kind of the same thing here with Boston. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, I don't know if Markelle Fultz can keep Terry Rozier in front of him defensively. So maybe that's kind of like what the other reasoning for having McConnell out there, that bulldog type of mentality and, that sort of thing. But, man, #1 pick in the draft and he's not even playing.
Baffling. And I think that's why a lot of people are upset too, Adrian, because he was the top pick and he's not getting any minutes. And then you're looking at Tatum, who's dropping 28 points, 3 games with over 20 points, 20-plus points in the playoffs. Hasn't been done since Larry Bird, but it's a feel thing for Brett Brown. But to be able to just get him some minutes, even if it was 7 to 8 minutes, just get the kid out there, get him a little acclimated. It can't hurt us too much.
Yeah. Let's see. What else we got here? This guy's saying Tatum is better than Fultz. What the fuck are you talking about?
No.
Well, Tatum is obviously better than Fultz right now, but I mean, we don't really know what Fultz is going to be right now. Like, if you're jumping to conclusions about Markelle Fultz already, he missed 68 games. We can't really fairly judge him until next season at this point.
And it's such a stigma. #1 overall pick, didn't play 68 games, and then the last 2 weeks that he did play, he was putting in 10 points. And I think people are assuming, since he was the top pick, that he's going to go out there and drop 25 points. It doesn't work like that. I mean, Jason Tatum has a full season under his belt, whereas Markelle Fultz has played sparingly. So you can't use that. I don't think you can fairly judge a trade unless it's like 3 or 4 years afterwards, after the actual trade.
Yeah, I'm with you. Philly 0024 goes, Ben needs to be more aggressive. Can't be passing almost every time you get in the paint in the first half.
I mean, it's worked for him so far. I would like to see him be a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end, but he has affected his game this way to being a pass-first point guard, to be able to get guys open looks that just the shots weren't going down. So he was a little bit ineffective, but I would like to see him be a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end, because he could get to the 10. He could overpower those guys. But a lot of the times when he's putting his head down and getting a full head of steam, he's getting called on the charge a lot of the times. He's not getting the calls like the LeBrons because maybe he's a rookie or what have you. But I feel maybe that's what's kind of pulling him back from being a little bit more aggressive, because he keeps getting those calls on him.
Yeah. All right. I think, like, I saw that aggressiveness and that mean streak in Game 4 against Miami, and I want to see that again. By the way, are you am I lagging on your end, Kyle?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're both lagging, to be honest with you. So we got our live stream back, and it's back to old times, back to the lagging.
Woo! All right, I've missed this lagging, man. It's been nice, but
I think we're lagging pretty bad, to be honest with you. Let us know in the comments here if we're lagging pretty bad. So yeah.
It's like a Japanese movie, man. It's like you're a freeze frame and then the voices are coming when your mouth's not moving. That's only been a little bit. Like, it happened earlier in the show where I couldn't hear you at all and the lagging was bad, but it's a little bit sped up.
Yeah, I got the comments up, and like, where our what's the word? We're kind of grainy. We're not coming in clearly.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah.
snap. You're a little bit, yeah. It looks like you've got like Wreck-'em Ralph face right now. It's all blocky right now, dude. There's no definition going on. You're pixelated.
Well, I'm ready to wreck it like Ralph.
After watching that game, I don't blame you, bro.
Tacos goes, trust the lag. Oh man. But, I prefer this so much more than doing Zoom. Even though with Zoom we had the videos. Now, by the way, YouTube bitched about our videos doing them for Zoom. Like they blocked our one game like worldwide. I think only people in the United States can see it.
You're kidding me. Why? Because we showed the footage from a game?
And they were my own clips too. It's not like I stole them. So I don't know. It's like there's a copyright act where you're allowed to use film for educational purposes, and we're educating. So I don't know what that's all about. I know the law, man. I could be a lawyer if I want to be.
Seriously, that's crazy, dude. I mean, you want to have game clips. It's not like it's live. It's after the fact, and it's tidbits. It's not like it's the entire game even, too. I've seen other people do it. I wonder if they're getting – but I wonder if it's because we're on like thin ice or where we were on that probation, that YouTube probation, that this is going to become a thing. They're going to be watching us closely.
I mean, who knows, man? Like, we shouldn't even have had the 3-month ban in the first place. And the fact that, like, I sent WWE the video and like, I never heard back. I'm like, this is ridiculous. But whatever. All right. Let's see. Well, we kind of talked about this earlier, but Randy Holtshaver chimes in and he says, honestly, this shouldn't be made into a big deal. First off, Horford ain't shooting 10 of 12 again. Celtics aren't as good of a three-point shooting team as Game 1, and Ben Simmons will bounce back.
Yeah, absolutely. I concur with that. They're not a team that's going to be lighting it up from downtown. That's not one of their MOs. You look at their team, they don't really have any prolific three-point shooters. I think we're going to be okay. It's just some nights teams are going to shoot like that. Would they shoot close to 48% from downtown? That ain't going to happen again. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
Why I say, trust the process, breathe. It's all good, people. It's all good.
Yeah, it's like I'm pissed off because they didn't take advantage of a golden opportunity tonight with Jaylen Brown not playing. But I'm also calm because I know this team's going to bounce back.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. It's one game. We play a 7-game series. This team will be fine. We'll be right back at it. And then we still got 2 games at home. That I think it's because we've gotten so spoiled with watching this team and only losing, now 2 games since St. Patty's Day? It's like we finally suffered through the process of losing all those years, and now that we're winning, people don't expect us to have a bad game here or there. But it tends to happen. It's going to happen. They're still a young team, don't forget.
I'm trying to figure out if the Eagles winning the Super Bowl has made me soft because because I usually get pissed, like furious. There's a reason why I'm picking the Birds.
Hey, man, when you figure, look at that. You look at the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Nova won the national championship. The Sixers put out a 52-game win season, have a good chance to making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, we've got so enthralled with all this winning, we feel like Boston now. This is what Boston feels like all the time. So it's kind of nice, I guess, It's kind of nice.
Fuck Boston.
I hate Boston. I hate them more than L.A., New York. They're just at the top on my list. I'm just salty. They got a lot of championships.
Well, I mean, we found out tonight that they don't know what a rookie is, so,
That's true. Can't fault them for that. Too much beer.
Yeah.
Too much beer.
So, Philly 500 makes a good point. Playing in Boston isn't like playing in Miami. A learning experience. And, he's right. This is playoff basketball in Boston. You got it out of the way. You learn from it.
Yeah, I touched on that earlier in the video. It's like it's a whole different atmosphere than you're playing down in Florida. Not really a state that really gets behind any of their teams. And then you go up to Boston. Boston matches us in intensity. They're really passionate about their sports. So playing in that environment like that, and the players knew that coming in. Ilyasova even touched on that too. on ESPN that this was going to be a whole different monster going up into Boston. That's why we got to at least take one on the road.
Yeah, you just take one in the series. I mean, we saw Milwaukee and Boston play 7 games, not one road team won. That's crazy to think, and it might happen again where you're gonna have to win just one game on the road.
Yeah,
I mean, Milwaukee almost got that game won, if you remember, and that crazy game 1, and then Celtics wound up winning that game in overtime. And now we'll see if the Sixers can steal one. Marcos Levy says not saying Celtics is going to win, but Rozier is the Foles of the Celtics.
Really? Huh? I don't know. Tough to, like we said, tough before to really judge the two because you had such a small sample size of faults. And I've seen Rozier for like 3 years now. I mean, he's a solid player. He was well coached in Louisville with Rick Pitino. But I have to see more than just this one game. With Kyrie being out, he's stepped up huge. He's filling a major role for Boston because losing a player of Kyrie's caliber, that's huge. So for you to have to come in there and fill his shoes, he's going to have to do that night in and night out. I just don't see it.
All right, we're going to take one more question, and then we'll do final thoughts. Alex checks back in. Now, I really don't want to answer any free agency questions, but I'm curious how you're going to answer this, Kyle. LeBron, Paul George, or Devin Booker? Who do you target in free agency?
Well, for one, I don't think Devin Booker's ever going to leave the state of Arizona. I think he's going to be in Phoenix for his entire career.
Isn't he restricted? They can match him, right?
They can match him, so he's not going to go anywhere. But look at that. And my feelings about LeBron, not only because I think he would hamper Ben Simmons' growth, but I think Paul George fits a better need defensively on the wing. He's just a huge upgrade over Covington. You put a guy in there that can handle the ball, that can knock down shots, he's a better defender, hands down, than Paul George. So if it was between the two, I would lean towards more getting Paul George than LeBron, even though LeBron's better than Paul George. I just think he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands to be as effective, to come off his screens and all. And I know LeBron can do that. It's just I just feel LeBron has to have the ball on him 24/7, dude. I don't see him sitting back and just being able to become a shooter or a scorer. I feel like he'd have to have the ball in his hands, and it would hamper Ben. It's strictly on the thing of hampering Ben Simmons' growth. That's the only reason I would want to have LeBron here.
I love you, Kyle.
No, come on, man. It's not because I hate the guy. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that.
Well, you know who I'm picking.
Yeah, you're going to pick LeBron. I get it. He's the best player in the NBA. I totally get it. But it's just, you look at Paul George, and I just feel like he fits he's better in our system, is what I was trying to say, than a LeBron. Even though LeBron's better than Paul George in every category whatsoever, obviously.
Anytime you can get the best player in the world, that better fits your system.
Even if it could hamper your future star, really? You really think
it's
that's
not going to hamper your future star?
You don't think he's going to hurt Ben Simmons? I don't know, man.
No. If anything, he's going to take him under his wing and teach him the ropes.
I hope he could do that. There's something about LeBron's ego, man. I don't know.
I know. Hey, listen, his hairline is shaped like the Liberty Bell right now. It's a sign from God.
It is. And I told you before, I love LeBron. Up until he did that whole Miami thing, I was a huge LeBron fan. But once he did that and started doing all this me arrogant stuff, I don't know, man. It kind of made me turn against him a little bit. He's like a locker room cancer, dude. I don't want him to rip our chemistry apart. We got such a good thing going. I just don't want that to be inserted and just it would be volatile to this young team. Right, if he doesn't, maybe he's.
I knew I shouldn't have asked the question. I shouldn't have asked the question.
He's volatile, dog. He's volatile.
All right. I'll just say this before I close. You know that the media searches for shit to talk about LeBron because that's what sells papers. A lot of this stuff that you hear isn't even true. Damn it. Well, I shouldn't say it's not true.
What? It's not true? What? Look what he did with Kyrie, dude. Kyrie,
it's over-dramatized. It's over-dramatized. That's what sells papers, dude.
Kyrie left because it sells papers. You're telling me he left Cleveland because
Kyrie left because he wanted to be a star by himself. He's in his own little world. He's literally in his own little world because he thinks it's flat. Am I not right?
I love it. I love it. True. What about the whole Miami situation? Come on, man. Come on. Come on now. It's
What's
all
wrong
good.
with the Miami? He won a title.
I agree. No. I just didn't like how he has to leave teams when they're starting to decline. It's like, why are you leaving teams when they start to go? Now, this free agent.
Because he is obsessed with getting to Jordan. Okay, that's enough. We're done.
All right, but one more statement. Even if LeBron does win more championships than Michael, he'll still never be Michael. He'll still never be better than Michael. I don't care if he wins 10 championships. He still won't be better than Mike. And if that helps, him sleep at night, that's fine. But he's chasing the ghost. That's strictly what he's doing.
Great. Yeah. I agree. We can agree there. We can agree there.
All right, man. Opinions. I love it. Yeah.
I love you, Kyle.
I love you, Adrian. It's always good to have differing opinions. I love it.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into final thoughts now, because I got to write my recap. I got to write that shit now.
Oh, shoot. Go ahead. You fire off with the final thought.
I mean, I'll kind of go back to what I was saying before. I think the Sixers are going to come back in game 2, and they're going to win this damn bitch. I think that Boston is not going to shoot what they did again tonight. It's about Brett Brown making some defensive adjustments, because Brad Stevens outcoached the fuck out of him tonight. Yeah, Brad Stevens was more responsible for winning this game for Boston than any of the players. And some of these players had some huge nights with Al Horford, Rozier, and Tatum. So he took advantage of the Sixers switching defense. They have to change that up. They have to do something different, because you can't keep getting Marco Bellinelli and JJ Redick on mismatches. So I look at that, and I don't think the Sixers are going to shoot 5 of 26 from 3 again. So I think they bounce back. That's my final thought.
It's all about a learning process with this team. Brett has showed all throughout the season, and even in the playoffs, he knows how to bounce back from having the Sixers having an awful game. Brad Stevens out Popovich our coach tonight. He out Popovich Brett. And it's funny because Brett learned under Popovich. He was on that team for 4 championships. But this team is going to be fine. I think it's going to be a tougher series. And is it funny that I wanted Milwaukee over Boston? Only because I thought we were better matched to play the Bucks. And plus, it was home field advantage. So I want to be greedy, of course. I want to have the first game down there at the center. But it's going to be a good series. This might even go 7 games. And I think that would benefit the Sixers too. You just keep getting more and more on this team's resume. They're a young team. The more playoff experience, the better. And because if we do make it past Boston, you know who we're going to be facing. You want to face the best to beat the best. So you want to go through Cleveland. I mean, look at that show LeBron put on against. What a great series that Cleveland and Pacers was. That was phenomenal. I mean, wow. I mean, talk about more clutch when LeBron drains that 3 at the end and then just puts that team on his back to completely take them over. I mean, I want to play LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals is what I'm saying. I want to play him.
Okay. All right. Get LeBron, you shall receive.
Yep.
But we got to beat Boston first, obviously.
Yep.
And, you kind of said something there that brings me to another final thought. So I'll just say this real quick. There were a lot of Sixers fans that thought that they were going to win this series in 5. And I didn't think it was going to be that easy, because Brad Stevens is coaching that basketball team. They can have as many players out as they want. You still got Brad Stevens back there. He's the one guy I'm scared of in Boston. And he outcoached Brett Brown by miles upon miles upon miles tonight. So just wanted to make that known. This isn't going to be an easy series. This isn't going to be a series that the Sixers are just going to cakewalk through. This is going to go 6 games. This might go 7. And hell, Boston might even win. Who the hell knows? But it's going to be a grinder. This isn't Miami. This is Boston. So we'll see how the Sixers respond in Game 2.
The reason they got 17 championships, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Title Town, baby. Title Town. Let's get this going.
All right, shut the fuck up. That's Kyle Gafter. I'm Adrian Fedke. We're out.